What if I told you the very thing you consume every day, the substance that makes up 60% of your body, is slowly poisoning you? And what if one man's obsession with fixing that could change the trajectory of your health, your family, and even the future of humanity? Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we are diving into the water war you never knew existed with a CEO who's rewriting the rules. Welcome to the stage, Nelson McIlevin. What's up, Nelson?
How you doing,
I'm
Carlos?
doing phenomenal, but I'm very, very happy to be having this live episode on a blessed weekend as we are recording this live today, April 19. Happy Easter weekend for everybody that's watching us live. If you're here on the replay about a month from now, welcome. And my friends, I want to introduce you guys to Nelson. Nelson is just incredible, man. Just the guy is, when it comes to water, he is the man, the myth, the legend, founder of Sentry H20, family-owned small business that combines the best German water technology with innovative American engineering to proudly provide families and businesses across America with one-of-a-kind water treatment systems that remove both harmful toxins and enrich the water with essential nutrients. I'm big on water now, so I'm actually looking forward to, you and I were just talking offline about, I haven't had somebody talk about water, and I'm very happy that we're here because it's something that we all think about. Some of us spend a ton of money on systems and water bottles, which you and I were talking about. And so I'm looking forward. And let's just start with the bang. I mean, you went from engineering parts of Fortune 500 companies to build water systems. What was that moment, Nelson, that you realize I can't let corporations dictate what's in my family's water?
Oh, Carlos, I met a gentleman called Deepak Chopra in Germany, and he was developing water products for the wealthy folks of Europe. And I realized then that they're not drinking our water. They're drinking a different water. And I didn't understand it at all. I used to build RO systems. I used to build all the water products for the big corporations. That's why I started my company. I'm an injection molder. I made the plastic widgets that made the water canisters and whatnot. And this guy's telling me, we don't drink that stuff. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's the standard of the world. Everybody drinks bottled water. Everybody drinks ROs. I have one in my house. I'm putting salt on my body every day when I take a shower. That's the standard, they told me. He goes, no. We don't do that. I says, well, what are you telling me? And that's when we realized that we had to make a change. And then I asked all my water companies to politely leave my business. And I walked away from several $1 million worth of business and started this company. And here's the other thing that really kicked it off. You're going to love this one, Carlos. 8 years ago, I'm a guy, I don't take any meds. I'm a med-free individual. I don't believe in it. Well, I shouldn't say I don't believe in it. I just don't, I'm lazy. Okay. I can't do it.
No, I don't like it either. So I'm with you.
Okay? So I'm not popping pills or any of that stuff, right? So I go to my doc. He says, hey, Nelson, we got a problem. I said, what's the problem, man? He goes, your PSA levels went from 1.6 to 3.9. Okay, fine, whatever, maybe it's just a fluke. 6 months later, we go back. No, I should say 3 months later, we go back. He says, hey, you got to go get an ultrasound. So I go get an ultrasound. Come back. He says, hey, you got a growth. Your numbers keep going up. You better go see a specialist and talk to him. Okay, so me and my wife, we go off. We go to this guy. He sit down. This is in January of the following year. I sit down, and the guy says, you got a problem, man. We're going to have to go in there and cut it out. Okay, what does that look like? I have no idea. I'm not into cancer. I'm not in any of these things. I don't know anything. So we got to cut it out. He says, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take it out. And I said, so what's that mean to me? What's the deal, right? I mean, am I going to be laid up for 6 months? The whole bit, you want to find out the whole. He goes, well, that's the least of your worries. You and your wife will never be the same again. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, you're going to become a eunuch, right? Because once they take out your prostate, that world changes, right? I said, no, thank you. My wife's flipping out now, she's like going off the deep end, what, you going to die? And all. I said, fine, I'd rather die than be a eunuch, right? I mean, that's just me. Okay. Everybody has their moment, right? And I go home and I move oxygen in corporations. So I take scale, scale is right. Scale destroys machines. When scale gets in the water lines to keep machines cold, make them run. When that plugs up, machines stop working. So we have a product that would remove scale. It's called CT resin. Remember that, guys, because this is what we're going to be talking about. This is how we get heavy oxygen in your body. So, it scale passes through negative and positive ions, creates an oxygen bubble, breaks the scale down to a powder form, and everybody's happy. No sticky, no nothing. I said, if I can get that into my gut, I can kill, because they tell me cancer and oxygen can't live in the same place, right? I mean, we've all been told that. That's nothing new. So I went home, built my first system. We bought a new home, and this was in January, February, bought a new house. I put it in a new house. I started drinking the water. In May, I went back to the doctor. He had another blood test done, went back. He looked at me and said, what the heck did you do? I said, what do you mean what I do? He says, your PSA levels are down to 1.7 and the growth is gone. What'd you do? That was only, 3 months? I was like, well, I've been drinking this oxygenated water. I didn't know about the other things we do. I didn't know about the pH. I didn't know about the magnesium, calcium. All I knew about is I wanted oxygen in my gut to get rid of the cancer, right? Because that's what I was told. That's all I knew. I didn't know anything else. I was kind of like, an idiot when it came to all this stuff because I don't care, right? We live, guys, we just go through life. We do not worry about medicine. We don't worry about sickness. We just live life, right? And that's when I realized, Carlos, something's different about this water, okay? And I'm going to tell you all about it. You're going to be surprised when I tell you the stuff that this water does. It's crazy. And the people that it's helped, it's just over the top nuts. Wow. So that's how it started.
I love it, man. I love it. I just love hearing those type of stories. I'm big when it comes to health, and that's incredible. And like we all know about our body, water and oxygen, and people spend a ton of money going to those oxygen machines. And I have a bunch of doctor friends in Orange County, and they're all about water and oxygen. And Nelson, I mean, you worked globally. Why is America water crisis uniquely dangerous, and why aren't people talking about?
Well, we've been dumbed down, right? So most of us believe what we're told. And if you ever listen to the mainstream media, they'll tell you what the pharmaceuticals want you to know. That's just how it works. Okay. They have an agenda, and I'm not really sure the whole ins and outs about it, but I know this. The people that manage these large corporations, they are doing something different than what they're having us do. And water has become a major source of income for a lot of people. Water bottles, you see them everywhere, right? Well, somebody's making those water bottles. Somebody's putting the water in the bottle. And I used to do that for a living. I used to make all the caps for the water bottles, all the caps for all the Coca-Cola and Pepsi and all that. And then I used to make the bottles. And there's a great business in making bottles. I mean, bottles only cost a couple of pennies, but if you make 1 billion of them, you make a lot of money, you see? And it's disposable. The minute you're done drinking your water bottle, what do you do with it? Throw it in the garbage. And then you grab another one. And that's an ongoing cycle, right? And I used to go to the store once a week, pick up my 2 or 3 flats of water, and then we drink it through the week, and we do it all over again. So that's why that is just a huge income source, okay? So they're not looking at changing the game. Corporate doesn't want to change the game. If there's money to be had, we have to have it. But America, though, America is a country that we are country. Think about it. How many Americans are there? And how much we have disposable income? You've been to other places, Carlos, and they drink whatever they're given. They don't go down to the local grocery store and buy flats of water. They're not in that. They're not even that fortunate, okay? We are fortunate. So we think it's an easy out. You grab a bottle, you run down the road, you drink it, you move on, right? So we are also a country of getting lazier. So what we want is something that's easy. You don't want to think about it. That's how it is.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, like many countries, they cannot even afford buy bottled water at supermarket. That's a luxury. It's only the very wealth, very wealth. And it's funny, you make me think and self-reflect because you do. It's a water crisis. It's something that is a global issue, and people they don't realize. And Nelson, tell me something. reverse osmosis, I mean, systems, they're like everywhere, right? And
Yes.
why did you call them the health equivalent of eating cardboard?
The problem with the reverse osmosis is this: it does one thing, only one thing. It destroys the water. Okay, so it kills all the good and all the bad. It's really hard just to keep good water. Okay, it's easy if you're going to destroy something. So everybody has the same standard. You don't care what kind of water comes in. You don't have to be finicky about it, how you're cleaning it. You just go in and you kill everything. Dead water, Carlos, dead water does not hydrate you. You made a very good point. Your body is 60% water. Actually, I think it's even higher than that. I think it's closer to 70% water. That's major. And if you got dead water, all you put is liquid in your body. You're not hydrated. You're not healthy. And there's where you're at. Now, let's go back to the 1800s, 1700s, 1600s. The water they drank came from a well or it came from a stream. What gives you pH in water, Carlos? Minerals. Minerals. Well, what do we do today? Oh, we shoot it with a little electricity. We know those machines out there. Zap it with electricity. Or let's go to one of your favorite stores and buy a flat of pH water. And what it'll say in really, really, really small letters, after 7 days, it's back to normal. Okay. Our water, when it goes through our system, it goes to a 9.0 or maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, depending on what water's coming in. It kicks about 2.5 points and it stays like that for life. It never goes back because it's all mineralized. It's nothing to do with electricity. It's nothing to do with anything fake. This is the way God gave you guys water.
Yeah.
Use it. It came this way 2,000 years ago, right?
That's real talk, you know. And what's also what I really like about you and what you are doing is we love magnesium in my house. We talk a lot about oxygen. We're big in health. I was, I mentor many athletes and just great people, high performance folks, and they big in water and you use actually you adding magnesium and oxygen back into the water. Can you explain to the folks listening to us
Yeah.
why this isn't just like better water, but it's medicine pretty much?
No, 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 no. Carlos, all water has, if you don't go through an RO system, all water has calcium and magnesium in it. That's what scale is. That's this big bad scale. Okay. Well, here's the problem. If you don't know how to manage scale, it'll kill you. You ever have stones? Have you ever been fortunate enough to have stones? I have, and it almost killed me. Okay. So here's the deal though. When you manage water, you take the scale, you break it into a powder. So now it can't become a scale. It's like a little snowflake, right? A little one. Also, you got a big snowball. And now you got a scale in your body and you're like not too happy. So when you break it into a powder form, it just passes through. So the magnesium, calcium's in your water. All we do is boost it. We have a product called trapezoid, and we just kick it up a notch. So after 3 to 4 glasses a day of 8-ounce glasses of water, which you'll want to drink when you drink our water, you get addicted to this water. Your body will have the magnesium, calcium for the day. Okay. So it's all right. And it's natural. It's not, it's not a chemical. When you take magnesium pills, it's a chemical. It's not real. It's not pure. And then the way we create oxygen is really easy. I mentioned this before. When the scale passes through CT resin, this stuff's made in a nuclear reactor, positive, negative ions create an oxygen bubble. Now, the harder your water, the better your water. Everybody else tells you the harder your water, the worse your water. That's not a true statement. Hard water means you got minerals and you want minerals, right? And then what we do on the back end, we take it and we take in and we make it to a 9. Yeah, it's alkaline, 9.0. And that destroys acid that creates cancer. And we've been told that. Okay. And I've been drinking it now for 8 years. And I'll tell you something, guys, I've never been healthier.
Wow. Incredible, man. I love this topic, man. It's something that, like, you all you do is just improve the quality of water.
That's
You,
it.
you you're talking about reducing inflammation in the body, many issues and many
That's it.
problems that will become, and people they don't realize how bad water is out there, man. And
Okay.
that's very excited to be talking about this, and families who switched from to Sentry H20, they report like insane health turnarounds, like we've been discussing. I was doing some research prior to the show. What's the wildest story that you heard from all these families that you've been servicing over the years?
Well, I can tell you, I'll just give you there's several of them. I can tell you about a person that his wife had brain cancer, started drinking our water, and brain cancer went away. I can tell you about another gentleman who his wife had metastasized cancer, and metastasized cancer went away. I can tell you about the latest one. This is my latest one. The gentleman, 95 years old, billionaire, can go anywhere in the world, get any treatment he wants. Guy's in good health, good shape, amazing. You wouldn't even think he's 95, right? And he asked me, he says, hey, I heard about your water. He's a friend of a friend. And he goes, I heard about your water. I'd like to try it, He's into conservation, things like that. So I put one in on Tuesday. He comes to me on Sunday. I see him at church, comes up and says, hey, Nelson, he goes, something's weird's happening. I said, what's going on, man? Cliff, what's happening? He says, my skin cancer, which my entire body, my doctor told me he has pre-skin cancer. He had all these white dots all over his body. He showed me some of them. He said, they're starting to disappear. 2 weeks later, I see him. He says, Nelson, all my skin cancer is gone. And I went to my doctor because I was kind of like freaking out where the spots went. Because maybe they're getting worse. You know what I'm saying? He goes, you don't know. He goes, you have no more, your skin cancer totally dissipated. And the doctor couldn't understand why. Okay. That's the latest. But I can go on about people with liver problems with cysts on their liver. I can go on about all these different things. And I can tell you the names, Carlos, and you know who I'm talking about. They're very prominent people in the world. And when I say their name, you'd be like, oh, and everybody knew that these ladies had cancers. Gone. So those are the things we're hearing. All I know is this. It happened to me. I can't say for anybody else, man. It happened to me. And that's where I'm at. But here's the other part of this product that we're not even talking about yet, Carlos. We take out all the poison in the water. Mm-hmm. Now we got to start in the beginning of that one because people don't realize what poison's in their water. Okay. So we pull out chloramines. You put chloramines, right? Well, do you know that that's got ammonia in it?
Did not know that.
So so chloramines is two things, chlorine and ammonia. Ammonia is cheaper and it lasts longer. So if you're in California, good luck, guys. They dump so much ammonia in the water because it's cheap and it lasts forever. So if you take a shower in this water, it's ammonia. If you use a reverse osmosis system or regular carbon and you use this water, it destroys it in several weeks. So all this stuff that you're buying is dead within less than 2 months. Okay. We use catalytic carbon. It's the only carbon that'll fight chloramines. And it's 10 times more expensive than regular carbon. So keep that in mind when you're buying something, right? So then what we do is, that big word that everybody's throwing around, fluoride. Okay. We remove, and we've been doing this for 2 years now. We remove 110% of fluoride.
Wow.
Okay. And here's how we do it. It's really simple. Back in 1850s, they had fluoride in the water. They weren't dumping it in the water. Fluoride is a natural byproduct of the ground. So when the water passes through, it picks up a little fluoride, and now you got fluoride, right? Well, they figured out back then that fluoride was a cancer starter. So they came up with a product, and we buy it out of Scotland, called Bone Char. It's animal bones. They grind them up. We put it in our product. Very, very, very expensive because they don't want you using it. And when the fluoride passes through, fluoride sticks to the bones. And that's how we get rid of fluoride. Okay. Wow. In the state of Florida, they are 3 times the national average on fluoride. That's why we developed this product at this level. We were pulling it out with carbon prior, but we weren't comfortable. So we went to this product. Then after that, we take out arsenic, chromium-6, boron, and all heavy metals. Okay. That's the boring part. I'm getting to the good part. You've heard of that little town called East Palestine, Ohio? Remember where they dumped the vinyl chloride?
Oh, yeah.
I went in, we gave away a system to every home in East Palestine that wanted one. And we removed 100% of vinyl chloride. Nobody else in the world can do this.
Wow.
So here's what happened. I had EPA do chain of custody, and I had EPA do the testing. And they weren't happy when they see what we did. Because we had them test their water too, by the way. But I called up my guy, Deepak, over in Germany. And he said to me, Deepak, can I use this other carbon? I'm going to tell you about that next. This other carbon that we're using, will that take out vinyl chloride? He goes, oh, no. Nelson. I'm gonna air fry in some special carbon that we developed for vinyl chloride that we knew was going to be a problem in America, and we did just 5 years ago. You go think about that one.
Wow.
Okay, so we went in, did our thing, everything's cool. That's in your product also, because if you have white pipes in your house, there's a good chance you have vinyl chloride problems. Okay, that's a mustard gas, folks. They outlawed vinyl chloride back in World War I because it kills your nervous system. All right. Now we're going to get to the really kind of an interesting part. We remove all pharmaceutical VOCs. So when you drink our water, you won't want to be a girl anymore, guys. You're going to want to be a guy. And here's what we remove. We remove all PFAs, all the pills that you throw down the toilet, everything that you put into your body, I get to drink. That's how it works. It doesn't go into some magical hole and go away ever. It comes back into the drinking water, okay? So when you dump down the toilet all your pills that you're not using anymore, I get to enjoy those tomorrow. So when you go and drink from any other system in the world, that's what you're getting in your system, okay? We take out all the nanoplastics. You know that plastic bottle? I take out the bits of plastic. Now, how does plastic come out? How does a bottle release plastic, guys? It's really simple. Every semi goes through a heat cycle. So when it leaves Alaska with your special water in it that got RO'd, and then they had to put poison drops in it so it doesn't grow bacteria. Remember that. And that bottle you're drinking has special stuff in it so you don't grow bacteria in it. And that's law. It goes through a heat cycle. So when it goes through Nebraska to your home, or let's say you're in California, right, Carlos? So it's going to come from Alaska to, Northern California. When it hits Southern California, that semi is going to hit a heat cycle about 180 degrees inside. If it's 90 outside, it'll hit 180 degrees inside all day long, because it's a metal box, right?
Yeah.
That's when plastic releases and it starts breaking off micro bits of plastic. And you can't stop it. Okay. We protect you from that. We actually, when we go with our oxygen into your body, start scrubbing you of all that. And what does plastic do? It seals off your fat cells. It ain't the fast food joints causing people to get overweighted. It's some water. The plastic goes in and seals off your fat cells. It's just what happens. Our product will help go in and scrub your body. The oxygen does all these things. And we'll get to that in a minute. Then we take out, I think it's the most important thing we take out. We pull out all vaccines. Every vaccine we take out of the water. Okay. Whether it's an AIDS vaccine, whether it's COVID vaccine, whether it's just a vaccine that, you got for whatever reason. And there's a million of them on the market now. You take those out of the water. So I don't want to drink your vaccines. Okay. And here's how this came about. We got a call from some very, 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 very high-end elites in Europe. This is back right after COVID. And Europe was all vaccinated. And when people got vaccinated, they naturally go to the bathroom, right? You got to do that, in life. And that was getting into the drinking water. That was getting into the rivers. And these elites did not want their fish in their fish farms. They were showing vaccine in the fish. And they're not vaccinated, by the way. I hate to share that with everyone.
Yeah.
And that's why they paid us a lot of money to create this carbon. And this is how this carbon works. And everything we do is natural, guys. There's no chemicals in our product line at all. Here's how this carbon works. Normal carbon is at 600 to 800 grains of density. Remember, we don't clean water with RO. We clean water with time and density, okay? The longer water goes over, the denser the carbon, the cleaner it gets. Those are the rules. I didn't make them up. That's how this works. So we clean water with time and density. So we went from 800 grains of density. This carbon we have is catalytic carbon, which is very high end. It's infused with magnesium in it, and it's at 2,800 grains of density. That's how we clean the water. No one in the world has this. And trust me, all these people say that they take out pharmaceutical VOCs. If they did, the people that came to us wouldn't have paid us millions of dollars to create something to take out pharmaceutical VOCs. That's not, these people like their money. And they ain't going to give it to me just to say they did something big, right? So that's how that works. And that's the product that we have. It's an under the sink product. You can purchase it for $350. And if you use Carlos's code, you get 10% off of that. And then on top of that, guys, you're supporting Carlos's program. So we give back to Carlos. This is how it works. And it takes 15 to 30 minutes to put it in your house. You don't drill holes in your countertops. You plug it in on the cold side. You use the cold side of your faucet. And you got treated water, okay? We have a shower filter that does the same thing. That's if you're in an apartment. But guys, if you live in a home and you want to protect every faucet, you want to protect every appliance in your house that uses water, let me share with you something else that's really exciting. We have a house system, okay? You don't add salt to it. That's a thing of the past. You don't touch this system for a minimum of 5 years. I mean, you don't even look at it. It cleans itself. It takes care of itself. It does everything by itself, okay? You're done. All you need, and this thing will go in and clean out all the scale in your hot water tank. You know what destroys hot water tanks is scale, right? We keep it clean. Within 6 months, it's clean. On-demand hot water tanks never get scaled up. How about you'd like to be bathed? How would you like to have clothes that has no mold or fungus on it? We clean out your wash machine, your dishwasher, no scale, no water spots. And all the pipes in your house are clean. Worst part about our product, for about a month, you'll be taking the little aerators off and knocking the scale out because it breaks it off. It's got to go somewhere. And that's what it does. Now, every faucet's drinkable. You can drink water out of every faucet. The PLV that goes underneath your sink, that just has the pH booster, and that just has the vaccine or the pharmaceutical add-on, okay? Because we can't put that in the tank, because if we did, we could shut your water off. It's so dense. So it's a juggling act to make that work. But the tank that comes to your house, every house is fluoride free. There's no fluoride in any one of your faucets. That's gone. So that's what that does. Now we do wells. We take out uranium out of the water. We're finding a lot of uranium in drinking water now. That's nuts. That's a case.
And that's why I highly recommend, not just because I love what you are doing it. And I like Nelson said, guys, you guys know we are big in helping, reduce poverty, feeding the hunger, feeding people in the streets. And, what is one thing that we gotta step our game up in having those systems at our homes. And it's just so many benefits as you're talking about, and that I know as well from all my years of research. Some of you guys that know me for years, the things that my own daughter went through with her own health. It's highly, highly recommend. And Nelson, doing some of the research that I was done in you over the years, I remember at one point you were talking about water is next to oil. Are we heading towards a world where clean water is a luxury that only the rich can afford? What's your take on that?
That's really simple. There's never been a war fought over oil. Never. They tell you there was, right?
Yeah.
Oh, we're in the Middle East and we're here. No, you can't drink oil. People only care about themselves. Okay. So oil makes you wealthy. Water keeps you alive. You tell me what's more important to a human being. You can live forever without oil. You can live 3 days without water. So you think about that one, right? What's more important? That's all you got to ask yourself. What is more important? So what do you think we're all pushing and shoving in the world about? It's about water. Yeah. Water matters because, okay, so you if you're a history buff, right? And you go back and you read history, when kings want to take over another area, they shut the water down, and they didn't have to throw a punch. They conquered with control of the water. Because people cannot live without. Plants won't grow without it. Animals won't live without it. It's one of those things, guys, that it's a little bit more important than we want to put.
Yeah, you know the book, right? The Art of War, Sun Tzu. You
That's
control the elements, and water is the most important element. So that's how you win wars.
so you think about this. You guys really think about this. If they want to control a country like America, kill the water. Yeah. And how did it, I remember, I don't know about you, Carlos, but when I was a kid, I wasn't allowed in the house. You go out and play. And when you got thirsty, you grabbed the hose and you drank the water. Yes. The water that we have right now tastes just like that water. And let me share with this. We're into horses. We're into camping. We have a horse product. We have a camping product, a prepper product. But here's one of the things that we just kind of figured out, that the water is so important that when we put it in front of a dog, okay, so my wife has this dog rescue, right? We have a lot of dogs. and she'll set the water down. And the crazy dogs will drink the water before they'll eat the food. I'm talking about steak. She'll give them steak. They'll go to the water first and they'll drink it till it's done. And the craziest thing is this. We have large dogs, 17 years old, large dogs. We have small dogs, 21 years old. All right. And these aren't our dogs. These are rescue dogs, but they've been with us and nobody else wants them. So they end up staying in the rescue. And that's what we're seeing. I got a husky that's been on the water most of his life. And this husky acts like a puppy. It's nuts. I mean, animals get it. They can smell what's in the water, right? We do that. We went on the border. We picked up 198 dogs off the border back when the illegals were bringing all these animals. They had to leave them at the border because they couldn't bring them in. So we went down, picked them up. Our president would send his plane in and grab them. And then they would go to Florida, big dog ranch rescue. And we water that, by the way. And we would go there and then they get rehomed. Those are the things we would do with this kind of stuff. And what we're seeing is the dogs would all start getting better when they start drinking healthy water. Okay. Their bodies are smaller than ours. They react faster. You can see, I was like, we went into the horse industry. Okay. Now we've connected with several barrel racers we sponsor, and we're sponsoring the number one jumper in the country. Okay. This is a horse. I don't know the value of the horse. Okay. I have no idea. I'm not a horse guy, right? We don't want to go down that path.
I love horses. My uncles, they don't deal with horses in Brazil. They import them from here. It's big money, big market.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about. So we have a product just for horses. So we go to the out here, it's called Westworld. Okay. That's where they all do their thing. We're out there, we were just there Thursday night, giving her the very first production product off the production line. She got it. But she was using the prototype. So you ever heard the story, the saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink? They say that's true because these finicky horses only drink out of their own bucket. They smell themselves on the bucket. So we put her bucket down. Then we put my bucket down, same color, same everything, add my water to it. The horse wouldn't touch her water, drank 2.5 gallons of our water. And the people in the industry could not believe what they were seeing. This is going to make that horse faster, healthier. Because you think about it. The horse is now getting all pure water, not poison. So I don't know about you, but this is kind of crazy. If I have a horse worth $1 million, why am I feeding it poison?
Yeah, no, for real, man. I feed all my animals filtered water. I'm like old school, man. My wife and I, we are big in health. We feel even at home. We got a few birds, and in Brazil, in my farms, everyone, it's like you gotta, they like. It's like it's such a great point. And not only that, you mentioned the industry, which I was thinking about a question here for you. You battle giants in the industry. What's the one thing they don't want consumers to know, Nelson?
They don't want you to know really why you're drinking dead water. They don't want you to know. Well, they're telling you they're destroying, they're taking all the poisons out, right? They're telling you that. So that's not a problem. That's not even on the agenda anymore because everybody's, I'm drinking this, that. What they don't want you to know is that by managing the water properly, you can take all that medicine you have in your cabinet and throw it away.
Yeah.
You don't have to live on pills. You don't, okay. So when you drink our water, you get hydrated, right? Because now you got magnesium, calcium in you, right? That's the hydration portion of it. Women's lines in their face start diminishing. Their skin gets soft. Their hair gets soft. How much product are they selling you on the world of Botox, on the world of, men do it too, by the way, on the, let me ask you this. What about the weight field, losing weight? If you drink the water that we have, the minerals will fill you up. You don't have to be taken and you will lose weight. I used to be 192 pounds. I'm 5'11". Okay. So 192 pounds, 5'11", when you're young, you're good. Okay. As you get older, gravity takes over. Just, all of a sudden, man, you got, my pants grew by 2 inches. You know how that goes, right? You slow down, you just don't have the energy, you're done with work, you're done. I decided a year and a half ago to lose weight. Okay. I want to be like Kennedy. I want that 6-pack.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's the beast.
Okay. So,
RK is a beast.
and I plan on, and I'm in that mode now. Right. So I started to get on a healthy diet. We watch, we eat Wagyu beef. We're into every aspect of eating. I don't eat bun. I don't eat bread anymore. Okay. Boom, gone. But I started drinking the water. Right. And water, I use the water to fill me up. So I drink like 4 or 5 glasses before dinner. Now my portions got smaller. And I use the water, and all of a sudden, I'm down at 160. Took a year. It took about 7 months. Okay. I lose a pound a week. I didn't want to push it, didn't want to rush it, did it the right way. I do believe.
Yeah.
And now I'm running about 160. I'll go up to about 162, and then I'll drop down 159. It's that dance you do, right? But
No,
that's not
man.
bad.
Congrats, man. I got another 30 to 50 to release. I was just talking to some of my friends and peers the other day. It's
Carlos, I'll tell you how to do it. It's not hard. It's not hard. All it takes is a little discipline, and you can do it in a heartbeat.
oh
So
yeah.
I figured this. I am not going to be that guy that gets knee surgery. I'm not going to be the guy that gets hip surgery. When I was younger, I raced professional motocross, right? So all the body parts, man, I came off the bike, I got pretty messed up from time to time. But at the end of the day, I don't want to be that guy. Okay. I see my friends, man, they're all jacked up and they're like, oh, I got to go get knee surgery, right? And these aren't old guys, man. It's like, why? Lose some weight. Don't carry, 300 pounds on your body, guys. And don't let your weight will control what you do in life. It really does, because if you don't have the ability to move and do things and you're tired all the time, that's not a good place to be, Carlos. You don't want to
I'm
be
telling
there.
you, man. Like a simple tip I always tell my friends that have it. I say, buy an infrared sauna, put in your garage, drink Nelson's water, and go on a fasting. Stop eating after 6. Don't have your next meal into the next morning, and then exercise the first thing in the morning. So now your body having ate for 12 plus hours. You're drinking your water, Nelson. Now guess what's happening? You go in the infrared sauna, work out, you know, do a little combos and whatever, just lift some weight in there, bring some weights in the infrared. The body's going to go after the fat. It's not going to touch your muscles. You're
Yep.
drinking your water. Now you're bringing all the extra oxygen and magnesium into the body. It's like you becoming a healthy machine. It's a simple fix. Nobody going to tell those trainers, and they're going to want to charge you an arm and a leg to teach you those
No,
things.
no, no. Yeah, you're right.
Simple investment,
Yes.
invest in a great water system. If you don't like Nelson's water system, go find one that is similar
Oh,
to Nelson, right?
no,
Go
Carlos.
buy an infrared sauna. It's like 2 things. You literally giving yourself 2 decades of life, healthy life to enjoy, especially as we get older. You know how it is, man, with those joints. I lost 100 pounds this past couple of years, and I got another 30 to 50 to go. And it's
I'll help
exactly
you,
what I
man.
do. Drinking healthy water, get on that sauna, and just it's like it's the little things, but we spend a lot more money on stupid stuff.
Well, because it's easy.
Yeah.
Okay, it's quick. There's no quick fix to losing weight. It is a process, right? But I'm telling you this, Carlos, you can basically just get on, decent water. Now I'm gonna share some with you guys. All the water, and I'm saying this with all sincerity. I thought I knew water. I made the systems. I designed reverse osmosis systems. I actually made the tanks that went underneath your sink that the bladder was in and the water sits in. I made all this stuff, right? And we had like the state of the art. I made everything for these corporations. And I'm going to tell you something. I believe with all my heart that every bit of water that's out there right now is poison. I believe that. When I connected with this German technology, one of the things I found out was they don't drink our water. They don't even entertain it. And these guys, and you know who I'm talking about, they are like older than dirt.
Oh yeah.
And they're still, and everybody keeps asking.
Countries overseas, even some of our food, and you don't see none of those cans and crap overseas. They don't eat a lot of the things that we have in the supermarkets over here in US. Overseas,
Right.
they don't consume that stuff. It's crazy. And
What?
then I'm with you too with the water, man. They all these labels that you see, organic or the water's healthy. It's
No,
okay, yes, good. I know. It's just to charge us more money, which matter of fact, what we're talking about right now is actually tied to something that I want to ask you. If you could pass a law, Nelson, tomorrow to fix America's water system, what would that be, brother? Would it be like, what would it be? If you like you say, I'm gonna create a law, you hanging out with Kennedy, he's big on health.
Well,
And so is Trump. What do you like? Hey guys, let's work on this to fix
okay.
our America's waters. What would the law be that if you couldn't pass it, it had something or any saying on it?
Okay, so speaking of Kennedy, okay, so we're working and we're going into his world. Okay, the first family, I'm gonna call them that for now. They enjoy our water. Okay,
Oh yeah, I love Kennedy, man.
no, I'm talking about the Trump family. Okay, Don
Oh
Jr.
yeah, they love, they big
Okay,
and help.
okay, well they're on our water. Kimberly off the deep end on it. So I'm gonna tell you guys something. If I had to create a law, I'd make it illegal to have any water that's been reverse osmosis. I'd make it illegal to have it, any bottled water that's all, if it's in a glass jar and it was clean water. And like I said, I think this product that we have right now, and I'm not saying, I don't, okay, it's not about the money. It's not about a business. It's about health, right? This is the only water that I know of because I know these people over in another part of the world are drinking it and they could drink anything they want. These are multi billionaires. Okay. They can drink any water they want in the world. They're drinking ours. Why? There's a reason behind that because they know what we don't know. They got it. They figured it out. They basically own the companies that you're drinking the bottled water from. So you see what I'm saying? And they're not drinking their own product. Okay. So for me, reverse osmosis kills water. And I'm going to tell you this, we sold thousands of these systems. I've only had 2 people return it because they didn't like the water. And here's why. These ladies, their husband loved the water. These ladies said, I can taste metal in the water. Okay. I said, so I'm going to ask you one simple question, ma'am. She goes, what's that? Are you on chemo? Yes, that's why. So they kill the water and they give you chemo and radiation, which is like not what you should be doing anymore. You're getting metal put in your body. You can't taste it. With our water, which is living water, you can taste it. And they didn't like the taste. So that was the reason they didn't want the product. Okay. It wasn't because of the product, it's because they didn't want, they were not, they're used to drinking RO. They couldn't taste the metal in the water. You see that the docs were putting in.
And
That's it.
no, I'm telling you, man, it's crazy. Some of these things are out there now, and your system is, even is reasonably priced. Anybody can afford $300, right? And a lot of people, they spend so much money just on bottled water on a monthly basis, just
Okay.
buying bottled water and
Right.
poisoning the body. Even if you cannot afford the whole house system, take baby steps. Start with the system underneath your sink. Start with the shower, right? And then it's like,
$450. You're all in, right? $450. You got yourself a system. You're taking care of Carlos. You're taking care of yourself. We give you a discount. We do everything we can to get this in your home, right? You can't go wrong with that. And then you go out and you buy yourself a stainless steel tumbler. Stainless steel. You make your ice cubes out of our water, and they'll be hazy. They will not be shiny. You know those shiny ice cubes that you guys all love? That's got they're in the middle of that ice cube is a clear spot, right?
yeah.
That ain't ice. That's chlorine. That's why it's shiny. Ours are hazy. They're all minerals. And when you use our ice cubes in any beverage of your choice, the beverage of your choice will cool down much faster because there's no chemicals keeping it from cooling the water down, or your drink down, or your beer, whatever you want to put it in. That's the big difference. So if you come to Arizona, you go to the Sun Stadium, you're drinking my water. You go and you do anything in any of the coal industry plants, you're drinking our water. Those are the people. When you start dealing with that level of people, they've done the checking. There's a company called Footprint. You ever hear of them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Footprint owned, or at least owned, whatever the building at Suns. Okay. Footprint's process is they're going to change the carbon footprint of the world. So they want everything super green, super right. Okay. They didn't even call me. I got an order, a PO for over 180 systems to put in there. Nobody even talked to us. They went and looked at what we got. They checked it out. They looked at all of our tests. And they knew that we were so eco-friendly. I'm not into that whole world, to be honest with you. I'm just into doing something that's right. Bam, sold. I mean, that's how right the product is. And I'll tell you, you can have an apartment. You can put this in an apartment and nobody's going to get angry at you because you can take it with you. And they wouldn't even know it was there. You can put the shower filter. It's good for 3,300 gallons. It's real. And you'll be bathing in oxygenated, no poison water. That's what you'll be bathing in. Okay. Did you know, Carlos, that you take in a pint of water every time you take a shower? A pint. So if you got a salt system in your home, you took in a pint of salt or something similar to that, fluoride water, right? But here's a catch. The salt kicks up your whatever in your body. And you know how the doctor's saying, oh, you got to reduce your salt intake? That's because you're taking a fucking shower. If you're in a salt system, you got no choice. So that's what this is. And then if you don't like putting bags, and like a lot, older folks love our product because they don't have to take that bag of salt and dump it in a box. Ours, salt free, runs forever. It doesn't, it just, and it's fine. You
I
don't
love
cost.
that, man. You make it easy, man. You make it easy for the people. People are getting healthier. I highly recommend, man. You guys looking up, not just because I'm interviewing Nelson, but look it up. Google him. Look at some of the testimonials. He's just incredible, incredible. Highly recommend. It's something that I'm big on: water and staying healthy. And Nelson, man, when you're having fun, the time goes fast, man. We're almost at the end of the show here. 46 minutes. I have one last question for you, my brother. Before I ask you this question that I'm about to ask you, where do you hang out the most on social media? Is that a place that if somebody want to reach out to you, where do you normally spend the most time on social? Are you on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok?
You're not going to want to hear this.
It's all good. I got previous guests. They're not anywhere. They literally gave their email for people to email them. So I heard them all.
I don't do social media. I hire people to do social media. I don't do it. I'm not on it. I don't, my wife has her little dealie going on. So she wants to talk to the kids. Boom. That's what she goes. I'm not on it. I don't have time for social media. I just don't. I start my day at 8:00 in the morning and I go till 11:00 at night. And I usually do that 6 days a week. And that's talking with people around the world. That's talking with, players that are going to advance this product line. I'll be honest with you, our core business is injection molding. So I'm making all the parts for Boeing. I'm making all the parts for Airbus, Homeland Security. If you come to Arizona or Southern California, you see those palm leaves on top of the cell towers, that's me. So we're doing stuff. We're making a difference in this world. Social media is not my place, man. Like I said,
man, I got
I got kids.
No, tell me about it. No, man, it's awesome. And my friend, again, but for anybody here listening to us, if you guys want to, learn more about Nelson, I'll be putting a link here below on the descriptions. You guys can go there. You can learn more about the water system. There will be emails there that you guys can reach out to Nelson and his company if you guys have any questions.
Oh yeah,
highly recommend you guys look into it. And then if you use my name, the code Carlos, you get a 10% discount on the system. It's something that I highly, highly recommend, guys. And Nelson, this is a question, my friend, that I ask every guest to close out the show. It's 50 years from now. You are 110 years old, and it's your eulogy. All your friends, your loved ones are there. Your best friend is going to be reading it, and that person's going to say, Nelson McIlevin was ... In your own words, who was Nelson McIlevin?
Guy that just took care of others that couldn't help themselves. That's all.
I love it, my brother. My friend Nelson, really enjoy, man, this interview. It's like people, like I say, man, the water wars, we definitely got to wake up and not thrusting those labels out there. It's a bunch of BS, and I highly, highly recommend, guys. It's very small investment in bringing good systems into your house, into your showers, into your sinks, and watch your health amplify to levels that you've never seen before. And you'll be surprised, you're seeing things going away. And all I can say, take a look, check it out. And for everybody here, Nelson, I appreciate it. Any last words, my friend?
Yeah, just guys, don't mess around with your water. Don't mess around with your health. And don't listen to all the nonsense you're being told. That's all I'm asking you to do. And just do your research and you'll be better off. You'll be much better off. That's what we did. And we ended up where we're at. I'll be honest with you, Carlos. How old do you think I
am? 61.
66. Going on 67, right? And
looking great, brother.
Well, and we're not slowing down. I'm going to retire when I'm 90, right? Because we have a mission. Get a mission, do your thing, man. But water matters. It gives you the energy. The oxygen gives you, by the way, when you start doing this water, you'll get gut oxygen. All of a sudden, it's not like coffee oxygen, it's gut oxygen. And you'll be like, whoa, I'm going. It's a big difference. That's all. Just a big difference.
Nah, man, I really appreciate it, brother. Like I say, guys, this isn't just about buying a water system. This is like joining a revolution. As you guys know right now, health is something big. the healthcare system is all screwed. In America, health insurance, so expensive. People cannot afford, and you gotta take care of your health more than ever. As we're gonna be living longer, and like I said, most of our body is water and oxygen. And like every purchase from Sentry H20, it doesn't just protect your own family; it's actually also helping feeds someone else. You guys gonna be big and helping others, and it's literally it's all about like clean water, and a full plate shouldn't be luxuries. They are the birthright of every human being. You should have right, clean, good, great water. And just let's rock and roll. Share this episode. Text somebody here. You guys know the drill. Life is all about the mission, never the commission. And the days that breaks us are truly the days that makes us. Much love, guys.
Thanks, Carlos.
Thank you, my brother.
All right.